All right. Hey, everybody. It's podcast 1558. This is Billy Truelove. I've got Justin Herrera with me this morning. Um, we are talking breaking news. Came out yesterday. Frank Clark, defensive end of our Kansas City Chiefs, you're well aware of that, pulled over in Los Angeles. Standard standard traffic stop. Tony Ime, an LA police officer, pulled him over about 9:20 p.m. on Sunday and noticed an Uzi sticking out of a duffel bag in plain sight. Not the best look when you're getting pulled over. I'm not sure where your head's at if that's not getting put under the seat at least, or the trunk, or something. I can't speak for Frank. I don't have a Lamborghini and I don't have an Uzi. But he was arrested on suspicion of having a concealed firearm in a vehicle. So he did get bailed. He did bond out Monday afternoon, a $35,000 bond, because this charge does come with the tag of a felony in the city of Los Angeles in California. Haven't gotten much from the Chiefs. We do know that he has since come out and said that it's not his weapon. That was a part of his security team. Justin, going as deep as we are into the offseason, the moves the Chiefs have made, the things that we've heard about Chris Jones, what kind of spot are we in right now?
I don't think it's good. I mean, here's the thing. So it's not like this was just incident number one. There was another incident where he was, pulled over for like the exact same thing in Michigan, not even 3 months ago. So this was back in March. And don't get me wrong, like I get it. Like if you believe in like your Second Amendment rights and having like a firearm, I think that's perfectly fine. Now this is going to be something a little bit different with like an Uzi, and it's not stating that it's not yours, which I thought was kind of like a big thing. When you're a football player, you're in a position where you're risking it all. So if you're saying that doesn't belong to you, you don't need to play delivery boy. You're past that point of being delivery boy. Someone needs to come get it for you. As it pertains to the Chiefs roster, that's where it gets interesting, because you still have, I mean, do you look to move on? I feel like they moved on from Kareem Hunt and, in a situation where, hey, the Chiefs gave you a chance to like rectify the situation and do right, and you didn't, and that speaks to like the second example of this happening. Do they look to move him or like just cut him outright, or is there something in the contracts? If there is, I feel all right, because that frees up cap space to a degree if that is the case, and then you can look at like an Ingram or like even bringing back Justin Houston. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like, whoa, like the world is ending. Because honestly, Justin Houston's played better than Frank Clark, all things considered, since like the bringing Frank in.
As of late, yes. Just as well as anyone, though, made a big move when we made the trade for Frank Clark in 2019. Hard to look at production because everyone gets a pass if you win a ring that season, which we did. And he was a big part in that postseason. So, it kind of it's hard to look at full season stats and things like that. He is not a bad player, and we know when he is rolling, he can be one of the better 4-3 ends in the league. So it stings right now that we're past the draft. We are a lot of the dust has settled in the offseason and the free agency landscape. I started to wonder, like you said, this all is kind of contingent on what those details are in the contract. If we cut him, it's only going to help us so much. But if there's something in there that says he has violated that contract, or he has voided that contract with this trouble, then we could be looking at a lot of freed up money. And I wonder if you even reach higher than Justin Houston, and you're looking at who's holding out right now. Can you call Minnesota, and can you get Danielle Hunter for a first-round pick? Can you pretty much mimic what you did to obtain Frank Clark? We didn't make any big moves to grab Julio Jones, so we still have all the capital, all the weapons we could need to go make a move for a free agent. I just don't know if there's enough time for Veach to make this move, or if we're now going to say it's Chris Jones absolutely playing D end now, if we're going to potentially lose one. Something like this, not sure what the NFL is going to do. They'll probably look for the team to make a move first. And as you just said, the Chiefs do have a swift hammer with instances like this. We could be looking at a 1 to 4 game suspension in a tougher part of our schedule in that first month. Do you think Veach is in panic mode at all right now?
I think if there's one thing I will say about Brett Veach, I don't think he goes into like panic mode. I don't see like panic moves. I think everything that he does is calculated out, which is like, as a Chiefs fan, that should give you a lot of confidence that you don't have a GM that makes those panic moves. There's also, I mean, I think you have like Olivier Vernon still out there also. So, I mean, I think there's options as far as like who we can go out and get that would absolutely be serviceable. I'll be honest, though, to kind of touch on a point that you brought up just really quickly. I don't like the idea of Chris Jones playing on the outside. Like, I don't like it at all. You have a guy who's second best at his position, only behind Aaron Donald, and I can't think of many people in the history of the NFL that are better than Aaron Donald at what he does.
Yeah.
And now you're taking that strength and moving it to a position where he's going to be quicker than all those interior linemen, right? Like your centers, your guards. So Chris Jones is big, powerful, and he's quicker than those 3 interior linemen. He's not going to be like quicker than like your standard outside defensive ends. So he's just going to have to try to overpower a left and a right tackle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that that's going to be like enough to like really impact the game. So I hate sacrificing that strength and having it, I don't want to say become a weakness, but it's not going to be as good. So
I am 100% with you. I think him directly next to Jarran Reed is an awesome set of guys to have next to each other. And now you make the interior line. Jarran Reed is by no means better than Chris Jones. So now leaving him by himself in there is just getting him right where he was in Seattle, which was looking for a job. And so I am with you. I don't know that he fits it. Obviously, the coaching staff, which I do trust this coaching staff. I think we have one of the better all-around groups in the league. Knows what they're doing, but obviously this is not an ideal situation. I do hope that Veach is out getting some feelers, because one way or another, the end of the road for Frank Clark in Kansas City is very, very near. Whether that be right now, before the season starts, or at the end of this year, I don't see him. I really do think this is it for him. And the question, and I'll ask you: were you aware of this March gun charge?
No, that's the other thing too, is I didn't see that breakout until that got put out. I think we actually got a text from Matt about that. In our group thread, and I had no idea. Like, and I feel like we're pretty like in tune. Like we check, we're on the Twitter sphere pretty often, and like I hadn't heard anything about that whatsoever.
And if we go back to what you mentioned with Kareem Hunt, it wasn't what happened that got Kareem cut. It's that they had to find shit out after he had said he has told them everything.
Yeah.
If honesty with these players and the front office is that big of a deal for them, and they are learning something on the fly that happened months ago, that does not look well for Frank Clark. And I just can't imagine the Chiefs don't have. Remember, the Kareem Hunt situation happened prior to Frank arriving. Though every single contract going forward after that probably has some insurance in it. Yeah. And I would imagine there's a way out of this contract that saves us Like you said, I think he does have a cap number this year of close to $28 million, fully guaranteed. If he were to get every bit of it, that's a lot of money that you could approach a team looking to unload a player that is in a money holdout situation, such as Danielle Hunter, or who we mentioned a couple weeks ago, where it seems the smoke is kind of settled in Arizona, but Chandler Jones, another premier pass rusher. I try to calm myself down by thinking, how's the season look if, let's say, obviously, God forbid, Frank Clark goes down week 1. Are we losing a bunch of games because Frank Clark's not here? I don't think that the season absolutely unravels like it would with one of our top tier offensive weapons.
I'm going to agree with that. And now year 1, I would have said Frank Clark going out, that's something where the defense maybe becomes unraveled. But as we kind of have gone on that additional year, I think the lifeline of this defense really is Tyrann Mathieu. So I don't think it has as big of an impact. As a player, I love Frank Clark's attitude. I feel like that's what we need on defense, which is great. You need guys like him. You need dogs, and guys that just aren't going to back down, aren't afraid or anything like that. But I feel less impacted after these past years. It's time missed, and obviously you hope he's healthy, but he had the stomach issues and wasn't feeling well and things like that. Yeah. So we just haven't had that level of production that you would expect for over $100 million, a $100 million contract. Yeah. You're at that point, you're kind of expecting, you're talking double digit sacks, and I'm not talking about 10. I'm talking more 15, 16. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's upwards of that. A sack a game at minimum is what you're kind of expecting with that. So, but I was looking up the contract numbers, and again, I think we for the most part typically use Over the Cap. I think it's a great resource. So, I was looking at 2022 with Frank Clark compared to in 2021, where you were saying there's that $25 million cap casualty. In 2022, if you cut him pre-June 1, if there's nothing in the contract, it's just is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a $13 million cap hit, 13.6 mil, but you're saving 12.7 mil also.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal in any situation whatsoever. But I have a feeling that if these instances happen, and then we're looking at the production overall, adding those two together just tells me he's not going to be here next year. Yeah,
I'm with you. Guys, that's what we wanted to talk about this morning. Frank Clark, the situation that is obviously going to be updating pretty fast. I think there's going to be some news coming out here. I'd say watch for the Tyrann Mathieu extension. We're still waiting for that to happen. Implications like this, if we need money, getting that extension done is an avenue to get some cash ready to go make a move. Maybe for not in a tier 1 superstar D end, but like you said, maybe we do talk with Justin Houston. I am kind of on the belief that that bridge is burnt, but Bob Sutton being gone may help that out. Olivier Vernon out there. There are some guys. We had Ingram come visit. We'll see what happens. And as this story develops, we will continue to jump on here and let you guys know what we know. Until then, we'll be talking later on. I'm Billy Truelove. This is Justin Herrera, Podcast 1558. We are out.